Hello and welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. I'm Silver,
I'm chaotic.
and today's episode is about the black-eyed children.
Correct.
Do you know much about the black-eyed kids?
I do. I know quite a bit.
Are they like the black-eyed peas?
No. Not at all. I'm pretty sure, like the band bops, and actual black-eyed peas give you nutrients. These black-eyed children, these black-eyed little peas, harm you. So don't do that. Don't do that.
At this point, can't tell if you're talking to me about the black-eyed kids.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Anybody, don't do that. It's a bad idea. Don't if you see a black-eyed kid, don't be one of those people that's like, yeah, come in, I can help you. No, it's a no. Just because it's a kid, just because it looks cute, it's a no. Thank you.
Would you like to explain what the black-eyed children are, or would you want me to?
You know what? You take the wheel, and I'll just add on as I think of things.
Okay. So the black-eyed children are, as the name suggests, children.
Yes, between the ages of 6 and 16.
Yes. So it's kind of a 10-year age range. Seems to be a pretty good amount.
It does.
But I've heard people also describe them as there's three possibilities of what they are or what they could be.
Yeah.
The first, there is vampires.
Right. Naturally.
Demons.
Right. Again, naturally.
Aliens.
Naturally. Obviously, three very plausible what ifs in this situation.
Yeah. So the reasons why people think it could be these three things is black-eyed children will approach or materialize at either your door or your car door, standing along the side of the road to hitchhike.
Yes.
And when you stop to help them, they will ask to get into your house, get into your vehicle.
Yep.
Because they cannot get in there without your permission.
Correct.
And they almost have this ability to compel you to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to do that, as Chaotic stated earlier.
Right. And the only reason that you're compelled is because they're kids. They're known for like making you think that they're innocent, because what they do is they'll like avoid showing you their eyes. So the reason they do that is because if they like shield their eyes, then you're more inclined to believe that this is a child in front of you. However, when you're met with the pitch black, corner to corner black eyes, the instantly people are reported instantly feeling like a sense of dread. So like if you're getting the sense of dread, you're less likely to invite them in, as opposed to if they avoided eye contact with you and made you believe that they're actually a child.
Yeah. I've also heard cases that they're able to change their eyes to normal eyes when you first meet them, but they eventually do turn to all black.
I have not heard that. I haven't heard that. That's terrifying in a lot of ways, because like once you've invited them in, that's when you're screwed. So like once you've let them in, so that's kind of shady of them to be able to just change that. Like give me the heads up first, you know?
There's a couple other obvious monikers, if that's the right word, of being able to tell a normal child from a black-eyed child.
Right.
Their clothing is one of the main ones.
Mm-hmm.
They dress kind of like Mennonite out of the time period. Sometimes fancy, sometimes not. but they also could just be wearing a hoodie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, when you first meet them, they try to hide their eyes.
Yeah, in some form to try and not, because like stated, once you've made that eye contact, you can tell that there's something more sinister happening than just a kid in need.
Yeah, they're also said to smell kind of like sulfur.
Ew, gross. Also, their pale skin. Their skin's supposed to be like that's the vampiric and demon, but they're
Mm,
supposed to be like excessively pale.
mm. And sometimes olive tone skin.
Olive?
Uh-huh. Because one of the first guys that reported seeing them, Brian Bethel?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Bethel reported one of the boys that he met was really pale and white, and the other one was olive toned.
Huh. I've only seen reports of the. I mean, I've obviously I've read about Brian, but what I had read was mostly like sickly vampire pale, which
Mm.
there are vampires of all skin tone. They're just extremely pale skin tone versions. So maybe just looking to lack blood.
Yes, seems good.
Hmm.
Uh, Another way to tell a black eyed child from a regular child is that they usually speak with more of a robotic voice or
Hmm.
very
Monotone.
monotone, direct.
Hmm.
They usually sometimes they can converse with you. A lot of times it's just a single phrase, which I got a theory on that later on.
Hmm.
But usually it's just I want in, let me in. I need to let me in to use bathroom.
Let me use a phone.
Let me use phone. Sometimes they get mixed up and they say, "Let me use the telegraph," which kind of
Mm,
goes back to the wrong time period thing.
right. Ways the spot.
Yeah,
Trick them with a telegraph. If you meet a 6-year-old and you're like, "Yeah, you can use my telegraph," and they say, "Fantastic," kick them out.
yeah. A 6-year-old shold not know what a telegraph is.
I don't even think a 16-year-old would.
This day and age, probably not, unless
Oh,
they're history fans.
right.
They always travel in pairs as well,
Ooh, interesting.
so you always get two at a time.
Oh,
I see a lot of them as old and young combos. It's
okay.
usually the older one that talks.
Most of the pictures I've seen are like two little ones. Like two, they usually look like they're about like 10, like two little 10-year-olds.
Yeah. There's a lot of different stories about them,
Mm-hmm.
especially because after, the internet and everything picked up, we got more and more reported sightings after Brian Bethel's about them all over the like Midwestern United States and Texas and
Mm-hmm.
also over in London, Europe. More and more sightings started to show up over there as well. So they are a multi-continent creature.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much there is basically about them. There's a couple of things people say that I kind of picked up on some stories, like common powers and such. They have a mild psychic or telepathic ability where they can communicate with you without actually before you know they're there. Like if you walk into a door and they're knocking, and they start talking to you before you reach the door to see who it is,
Mm-hmm.
and they can kind of read your thoughts as what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
They have a super ability of tracking people down. So if you meet one like in a public place and leave, they'll show up very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And as the more you keep moving away from them, the more they keep tracking you down. I've seen one account where they can mess with lights
Mm-hmm.
and other electronic devices, kind of like a demon or a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
They can also be active during the daylight,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
but they prefer nocturnal times, which is often where the sightings come from. Is a child shows up at your doorstep at 2 o'clock in the morning asking you to use your phone.
Hmm. We love that.
Would you let them in?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. You can make me answer my door at 2. Somebody's knocking at my door at 2 a.m. I'm screaming, "Go away!" And when they don't go away, I'm sitting on my bed until they go away.
But once you yell "go away," they'll just keep knocking.
No, go away.
I also heard that they don't knock in a normal childish way.
Oh,
It's
it's like
almost
the
like a
cops.
steady. It's like a steady beat. It's like
Ew, absolutely
do
not. Mm-mm.
do.
No, that's hell knocking, and you say no. Period.
I don't know about you, Cat, but I've always learned to knock in a specific pattern
Yeah.
when meet going to somebody's house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I
Which
have like
pattern do
I
you
have like
use?
a special little song that I use. It depends. So like sometimes I do the regular like, you know, I feel
Yeah,
like that's pretty standard. And then sometimes I'm humming Backstreet Boys. So there's really no in between. But either way, it's not just some monotonous knock, you know?
yeah. I do the first way the same way you just did. Da, 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 da,
Mm-hmm.
da, da,
Da,
da,
da.
which I believe is from an old shaving commercial.
I have no answers for you.
Shave. I think it's shave and a haircut. 2 cents.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's where that knot came from.
That's not what I know it from. I can guarantee that's not what I know it from, but I don't know.
I think that's where it originally came from.
That might be where it originally came from, Silver, but that is not where I got it from.
Yeah, shave and a haircut's 2 bits.
2 bits. You were wrong.
Yeah, I was close.
Shave and a haircut knock. Where did I learn this?
I learned it from my grandpa, who does it on everybody's door.
I learned it from something, but it wasn't that. I think I must have learned it from a TV show or something. And then on the other half, it's everybody. Yeah. Rock your body. Yeah. Yeah, no. There's no in between. There's no in
It's
between.
one of the two.
Back
Not just
streets
other.
back. All right. There's no in between. There's no monotonous.
You don't want to just go a da 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 like
I'm
a
good.
straight.
Maybe I'll even, you know what? Actually, my phone is on vibrate, so that counts as like a knocking because when it's vibrating on a table, I hear it, and it's to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I know you could set your vibrate to a song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, on Apple, you know, you're weird and have Android, but
Lame.
you can like set your vibration pattern by tapping the screen. So mine does Night Before Christmas. It's like this is Halloween. This is Halloween. Halloween. Halloween.
Yeah, but that's their knocking pattern. In our knocking patterns, so people know it's us coming in. They also seem to not know how to use doorbells. Got a lot of stories pointing out that
Correct.
people go that have doorbells and it's like, use
Well,
the doorbell.
why would they use doorbells when they have that creepy ass knock, Silver? Why
They
would they
can
do that?
knock.
Why would they
They
bother?
can they can ring with the doorbell the same pattern. You
No.
just restart the songs.
Plus, there's ring doorbells now. Absolutely not. Could you imagine that popping up? Absolutely not. I'm
I,
good.
I wonder if there's a correlation between ring doorbells coming into popularity and the sightings of black-eyed children going down.
Ring was like, we're gonna make this so they can't kill as many people anymore. GG's.
Eventually, they'll catch up to the time period with the ring doorbells, and they'll just start speaking in the doorbells.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to move on to stories? Do you have any
Yeah.
stories?
Hit me. Are we doing stories or media?
Both?
So okay, so like the only story that I've read is about one of the first sightings. It was a couple, and I can't remember where they lived, but they answered the door and there was two children. And they said that their parents were going to be there soon, but they needed to come inside and wait. Like they were worried that their parents, blah blah blah. And the couple eventually kind of like gave in. They were like, yeah, sure, like come and sit on the couch. They didn't notice their eyes again because the kids didn't make eye contact and stuff. The kids sat on the couch, nothing really bothered. And then a little bit later, they were like, I need to go to the bathroom. And the husband was getting like this nosebleed. He just like kept getting a nosebleed. He couldn't get it to stop. So they went to the bathroom and the wife noticed their pitch black eyes and was like, did you see that shit? And the husband was like, did you see that? And so anyways, the husband is like starting to bleed more out of his nose and the lights go out. It's like straight up darkness. And the lights come back on. I'm sorry, no. The children are at the end of the hall where they went to the bathroom and they're like, "Oh, our parents are here now." And they walked outside and got in a car with two very large, skinny, pale men. And the mom, not the mom, the wife that had let them in waved and like they didn't interact with her at all. They didn't say anything else. They just got in the car and left. The husband continued to get nosebleeds, and like I think it was within like a couple of weeks, he went and got diagnosed with skin cancer, like stage 4 skin cancer. And a bunch of stuff just kept happening to this family, for quite a bit. And that was pretty much like one of the first ever interactions taken down.
I also heard that story. That did you hear about the cats in it?
Oh yeah, there was like 4 cats that went missing, and they found one dead in their own body, in like their own blood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even they affected the animals somehow. The cats
yeah.
didn't like them
Well,
when they first came in.
listen. To be fair, almost everything of alien, demon, or vampiric nature tends to be hated by animals because the animals can sense it. So, just like in almost every demon movie, there's a dog or a bird or something that gets hurt or dies because it's like the semblance that, it's something not of good nature.
Mhm.
So, like, I would imagine it's same instance.
Yeah. Is the Can your bird sense demons?
Yeah, my bird is a demon, so it can definitely sense other demons. My cats are also demons, so they would absolutely sense another demon.
One story I heard, continuing on story wise, is there was this gentleman who was in his apartment. It's a gated apartment, and these children were knocking on his door, and he got this sense of dread immediately from them.
Uh huh.
And he opened his door, and there's these, yeah, they were there, but they didn't even try to really hide their eyes. They just stared at him and just like, let us in now, let us use your phone, let us in, we need to call our parents.
Yeah.
He closes the door, goes and gets his gun, and by the time he comes back and opens the door, those two are gone, and there's a third child, just in singular, standing facing away from him, who has very light, almost whitish hair. It's a girl, and he points the gun at her and says they won't let you in. And she says, "I do not want in. Have you seen the other two?" And he said that,
Hmm.
yeah, they were just here. I went to get this and came back, and you were here. She says, "Oh, they are close then." And then she kind of turns to walk off, and she has all white eyes. And like she went after her,
Creepy.
and she walked down the hall and disappeared. So it's almost like there was a entity hunting them.
Yeah, like demons versus angels kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Then another story I heard was there was a mother and her son went to a convenience store, and it was a midwestern town, small town. She left her 10-year-old son in the back seat to go inside to grab some stuff. By the time she got back into the car, turned around without turning around, put her bags in the back seat. Then she got up,
Oh
looked in the
God.
mirror, and there was 2 kids in the back seat.
Oh hell no.
Yeah,
I'd be kidless real quick.
yeah. She ended up jumping, and she seen the black eyes with these other kids in the back seat, and she ended up jumping out of the car, running out in a frantic, uh, and ended up grabbing her kid as on the way out of the car, and ran into the convenience store. And I guess later ended up calling her husband to come down, and so she asked her son, "What was that?" And he said, "Oh, there was some kids that wanted in, so I let them in."
Oh hell no.
So it was her son that let them into the car.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Yeah. Well, later on, after they got back home, because they drove her husband's truck back home, and her husband drove her husband ended up getting into a car accident, and then
Did he survive?
and he survived.
Okay.
But later on, he got diagnosed with cancer.
Bruh. What a time.
So cancer seems to be a recurring theme that these children. Do you think they're giving the people illness, or do you think they're an omen of illness coming?
See, I just thought about that too. Like, I wonder how many people that have been diagnosed with cancer have seen these entities
Hmm.
before they get diagnosed. Like, is it maybe a part of your brain that's doing it? Or are these extraterrestrial beings that malicious that they're carrying it with them?
It's kind of, I like to think it's an omen type deal because we never really hear all that many stories of them after they, if someone actually lets them in. But there's a lot of them of people just seeing them and not letting them in, which I guess that's, you get more higher rates of stories if you survived the incident
Well, yeah,
type
I mean,
deal.
that does tend to help the storytelling there, Silver.
That sounded very sarcastic.
No, it was pure understanding. Absolutely.
Understanding and spite.
A little, just a little spite. Just spite on the side.
Would you like to? Should we do media? What they're in? There's a tons of other stories out there on
Oh, there
forums
is
and
for
stuff.
sure.
Forums. There's a whole Reddit about this type of stuff. Monsters, the unseen. I can't remember what it's called. If I remember it, I'll say it next episode. You can also find accounts of black-eyed children in the story in the movie Black-eyed Children, which was a movie that got funded by Kickstarter
Not a
back in,
Kickstarter.
yeah, all the way back in 2012.
I saw that there was a couple of books and movies, possibly movies, TV shows, adaptions, something, that are literally called Black Eyed Children. Don't let them in.
That seems like a very specific title.
It is very specific.
That might be the same movie I'm thinking of that got crowdfunded.
Maybe.
There's also an episode Monsters and Mysteries in America, which featured them and also featured Brian Bethel, who
Yeah.
is believed to be the first story that went kind of viral of the Black Eyed Children.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the nickname for the Black Eyed Children?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to share it with us?
I no.
Do
No.
you want me to share it?
Yes.
The nickname for the Black Eyed Children is BEK, Beck,
Mm-hmm. Beck.
which is a not really much of a nickname as it is just a anagram.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the right word?
Yeah, it's just taking all of the acronym.
Yeah, acronym.
Yeah.
English is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, that's all there is really to the Black Eyed Children. They come, they want you to let them in. You don't let them in, then they go away after a while, or they just keep on knocking and knocking. Would you like to do some mayhem?
Yes.
Big summer blowout.
Big summer blowout. Yoo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Would you like to do some mayhem?
Yes. Okay. What do you want to
uh,
start with? School, or do you want to start with normal mayhem? Actually, I got an idea.
hmm.
What category would you throw these kids in? Vampires, demons, aliens, or other?
I think I categorize them as aliens. I think they're more extraterrestrial than they are anything else. If I had to place them as anything else, it'd probably be demons as a close second. I don't think they're vampires.
I think I'd go demons above aliens, but vampires at last as well.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's fair.
Just because I figure the aliens would probably be better at mimicking us.
It's not so much about them mimicking us as it is their job to bring us chaos. Like even if aliens are like walking around right now pretending to be us, you still can feel when people are off. So I feel like even if they did try to disguise themselves as like us, it would still feel off when you came into contact with them. So I think it just doesn't benefit them in that situation to get rid of like the black eyes and be more normal. I feel like it's just whoever is, and I think it's also like a what's the what's the term I'm looking for? Like we kind of sort ourselves out. Whoever is letting them in, they're like, okay, well now you get it, because it's kind of like a test of intelligence.
Yeah, they use a disguise that is the most perceptive to the human willingness to help.
Like I definitely think they could definitely be a demonic source, but I definitely put them in more of an extraterrestrial source just because it's I've never heard like a demon story and their specific reason was to come up and just like make your lights flicker and maybe get diagnosed with cancer. So like I've just never, usually they're
Cancer's
like
pretty
destroying.
demonic.
Listen, listen, but usually they're destroying whole households with like some possession and awful, and I don't know all expanse of them, but I definitely lean more extraterrestrial.
Maybe it's just like the uh, demon trial and error, where they gotta
Okay, and
go
hear
do
me out.
something first. I guess
Okay, but
alien could be as well.
and hear me out.
Okay.
Extraterrestrials would be more apt to have like nuclear skin themselves, which could cause radiation, which could cause cancer.
Hmm. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I lean more extraterrestrial with the black-eyed children.
Would aliens smell like sulfur though?
I mean, if their planet required them to, or like if it was just an adaptation, you know what I mean? Like we can't just assume they smell like us, like they smell like soap and clean skin. Like they're out here living in other planets and other galaxies. We can't just assume that they don't smell like sulfur because their planet smells like sulfur.
That's true. They might be required to bathe or something. So they could be from Saturn because Saturn's made of some sulfur.
Right, but that's just in our planetary system. Who said they're from our planetary system? You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. We don't know all the planets.
Yeah, there's lots of systems out there. I mean, there's tons of galaxies. We're just one galaxy.
Yeah. Who's making the rules for them though that they can't enter anybody's house or vehicle unless invited?
Again, maybe it's just like a tradition. Something funny to compare it to is Chicken Little.
Yeah.
Those aliens literally thought they were being friends with them, and they were literally terrorizing them the whole time.
Huh.
And the aliens were like, "Oh no, we just wanted our kid. Thanks. You want some stuff to take home with you? Thanks. We didn't mean to hurt anybody. We weren't here to harm anybody. We were just trying to find our child." And they were literally causing an apocalypse. So like, I think it would just be intelligence based. I think it's just, I don't know.
So a difference in tradition, technically,
Yeah, I
maybe.
guess. Because with demons or whatever, like the standard cardinal rule is don't let them in. Don't let them into your life. Don't accept them into your body. Don't accept them into your heart. Don't accept them. You just don't invite them in. And if you have to have them around, you take certain precautions like salt or holy water, stuff like that. But these aliens don't like press, because it seems like for the most part, once the things are like, oh, I'll let me in, and you say no, they say it again, you say no, they say it again, you say no, and you're like, okay. And then like that one dude grabbed his gun and was like, and they were already gone. They were like, okay, well, he's obviously not letting us in. Like they got the picture. Whereas I feel like demons are a lot more relentless. They would be
So the,
more apt to continue to knock on different parts of your house or like be menacing or like make you, because a lot of the times in like the movies and or the stories, they make you like see things that would make you come outside and or open up the door for them. You know what I mean?
that's true. They're a little more tricky instead of just asking.
Yeah. Whereas these beings are like more straightforward and more like
So
knowledge. I
would
really think they're knowledge based.
in that with the story where that girl showed up after the two boys, do you think she's like a guardian or babysitter for them?
No, I would think it would just be like a higher being. So like like obviously if it's a demon, I'm sure it was an angel.
Yeah.
It would have been an angel that was like coming to put them back wherever they came from. Whereas if it was aliens, it's almost like it would be just a higher being like, okay, you guys have, like a parent, like you've been here for like 2 hours. It's time to
Yeah.
get back on the ship. You know what I mean? So like, because I don't know, it wasn't seeming like they were necessarily trying to hunt the kids as much as it was like a wrangling of the kids.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You never know. But in the story with the white eyes, it makes me more inclined to say demon and angel because it just seems more
Compatible.
seraphim to have the white eyes.
There's also the highly possibility that this is all three,
Right. Yeah,
and
it could be all of it. I
it
don't
could
I
be more
don't
than
see
one.
vampire. They're not really feasting like in that way, I guess. So I don't count them, cuz even like soul eating vampires and stuff, you have to be siphoning a source of life,
Mhm.
and they're not like feeding. Does that make sense? So I don't count them as anything vampiric, but they very well could be alien and demon. You never know.
Yeah. The only thing really vampiric about it is the being invited in part.
Correct. And that's just traditional vampire lore. That's not even actual, like, especially
Mhm.
a lot of today's day and age vampiric lores. You don't even have to have that anymore. It's more so demons. Like there's a huge rule upon spiritual beings. Like you don't have your welcome in sign facing out towards people because you can inadvertently invite things in.
Huh.
You have it facing towards you so that you can control who can come in. Stuff like that. And that's more of a demon precaution.
There is we'll have to get into this in a different episode, but there is a vampire that gives you sickness and then goes away. Then later after you die, it feeds after then.
Yeah, we don't know obviously if it's fed or not. So,
Yeah.
we don't have any stories like that. But yeah, that's cool. I also like the movie Let Me In. It's about a vampire. It's about a vampire child, actually. But she doesn't have like black eyes or anything. So
Okay, I think I'm thinking of a specifically different vampire child movie
probably.
where this kid accidentally becomes a vampire and meets two siblings that are vampires, and
No.
they're in like Scotland. They're in a castle,
No.
and
That's
it's like
not
a
it.
Disney Channel movie.
Yeah, that's not it, my guy. Let Me In is actually a horror movie, and she basically she looks like she appears like she's like 16, I would say, like 14 to 16 years old. She's stuck as a vampire, and she essentially finds other kids her vampiric age to fall in love with, and then basically enslaves them until they're old men and die, and then she does it again. And like makes them like bring her blood and like feed them and stuff. And once you let her in, she doesn't go away. So there's that.
Yeah, definitely. I just looked up, and the one I was thinking of was actually called The Little Vampire.
Yeah, The Little Vampire is a
Yes,
great movie.
and it should be out around this time of year, I imagine.
Yep.
Man, that movie's 23 years old.
Yes, it is. Silver, thank you for dating us. Silver was like, here, you guys want to know how old everybody is in this podcast? There you go.
Hey, we were alive when the Wizard of Oz first showed up on pictures.
What year was that?
1939.
I was not alive. That's a lie.
You
Pay
never
no
know.
attention to the man behind the curtain.
See, you're even quoting it.
You know what, motherfucker? Don't you start with me.
Yeah. Anyways, on to the school.
Yes. I don't know, man. They're definitely little fucking outcasts. They're the quiet kids. They were me and you. They were me and you sitting at the corner art table not talking to a fucking soul. That was us.
I bet they got kicked out of band class because they couldn't keep a rhythm.
I bet, dude. Drums were
They
like,
were
oh, here you go. And they were like, yeah, let me do this monotonous sound. Dude. I bet they played that big ass bass drum though.
Yeah.
They could keep a beat. You know what I mean? Never have to worry about that beat. It'd be on point.
Do you think we could also? They could be just the general populace.
I don't know. They're too quiet and weird, man. It's gotta be the quiet kid. They've gotta be the quiet kid.
It's the two kids you always see together without it, and never without each other.
Yeah, that's fair. And then that one older friend that they always have that's always like, oh, sorry, I know they're weird, but like they're cute and all. And then you're like, oh, that's the angel. There's always, have you ever noticed that whenever there's a group of two, there's always a third mom friend somewhere nearby? Always. Always.
I'm trying to think of examples.
Oh, me and Tiff at con and you in the back with the backpack.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. First thing I thought of. Tiff and I running around being absolute gremlins and you're somewhere in the back like, yeah, they're somewhere around here. Like if they die, I'll know. But like they're doing their thing.
we'll go with the quiet kids. Till would they have to be invited into school every day though?
No, I think just the once.
Just once.
I think just once. And honestly, I think that I think just the once. I think just the once would be fine.
I would think they'd have to be invited to every classroom as well, because if they got
No.
to be invited into an apartment complex apartment,
Oh, you're right. You're right. I didn't think about that. I
it's a
guess
door
it would.
inside a door.
So I would take it this way. I don't know if you'd take it this literally, but if the teacher's door was open when they were invited to the building, I think it would invite them into that room. But if the teacher's door was closed, then they would have to come back in and like get invited.
I wonder if they know which door was open at the time, though, if they just bounce off like a barrier.
Well, I'm sure that's what I was about to say. I'm sure that when they approach the door, they can tell if they're going to get in or not. But a lot of teachers in the mornings just leave them door opens, you know?
That's true. Oh, this just reminds me of something else that you'll probably find even creepier.
Huh.
If they can't, if they can get to the door, they will. But if you don't answer the door after a while, they'll start going to the window, the back door, and just keep going to different windows,
Until you
knocking on.
answer?
Yeah,
So you have to tell them no, you can't just ignore them?
pretty much.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They
That's
won't go
interesting.
away, from what I heard.
So you answer. You answer the move is to answer the door, don't look at their eyes and be like, "Go away. I'm good." No, no. You're not coming in here. Maybe grab a gun like dude. He obviously knew what the fuck was up.
Yeah, answer, then close back the door again.
That way they don't knock on your windows and shit.
If you're in your car, just drive away. Mayhem in general society.
Um, I mean, in today's day and age, I think they'd be okay. There'd probably be a couple of victims still, but I'd imagine most people would be like, haha, no.
Yeah, I think they would have less power now than they did in the olden age
I
because
agree.
everybody has anxiety.
I agree. Everybody has anxiety. We answer the door and it's two little kids at 3 a.m. We're going to be like, no. That's a hard nah.
Are you afraid of black eyed children? Don't worry, we have a cure for you anxiety.
Anxiety.
Oh,
uh,
Ruby would have a superpower.
yep. Yep.
Yeah, no one wants to answer the doors, phones anymore. Uh, no one usually stops to help kids or
Right.
people on the side of the road
Yeah. Well,
because of
I'd
society.
be the dumbass. I'd be the dumbass that would try to help. Like if they came to the door, I would step outside and be like, "How can I help you out here?" So I'd be that idiot, and if they got adaptability in that sense, I probably would. And also with the driving, if I saw two little kids, like if they appeared as like 6-year-olds on the side of the road, I would definitely stop and be like, "Are you okay?" I wouldn't let them in the car. I would probably call somebody, like call the cops or something. I mean, then the cops can deal with that. But
Mhm.
I would like call somebody and be like, yo, there's children on the side of Iota Highway nonsense over here.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I would do that, but I wouldn't invite them in.
I wouldn't either, to be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of the stories of black eyed children around Ohio, around us,
Mm-hmm.
usually they're Mennonite or Amish kids.
Absolutely the fuck not. And that is not against anybody who is Mennonite or Amish. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. But if you are a tiny Amish child, the way they're dressed, and you're coming at me and you got black eyes, you're going to be lucky if I don't roundhouse your ass. Don't wear it for Halloween. Don't mess around. I'm roundhousing your ass. That is too scary over here. You can be walking out the corn looking like that with some pitch black eyes. Absolutely not.
And the Amish kids, they're also very self governing. It seems like sometimes.
Yeah.
We always just seen them walking down the roads, anyways, around here.
Yeah. They're just everywhere by themselves. I saw one driving a whole fucking horse and carriage the other day. That thing couldn't have been older than 10.
Yeah,
I was like, do you have a license for that? Like, no.
none required as long
No,
as they
I
got the
know.
flashers.
And then there was like this one, and he had his dad with him at least, but he was like 6, and he was driving like you know how like there's like the horse and buggies, and then they have like their utility carts,
Hmm.
like that
Yeah,
carries the big stuff. He was dad was just chilling, just relaxing after his hard day of work. And this 6-year-old, he might have been 5, was driving this big ass utility cart. It's wild out here. Don't you pop out that fucking corn with black eyes. You're gonna get roundhoused.
yeah. uh, it kind of makes me think, what if other things get black eyes, like animals? Because there was a time where I did see a black-eyed deer walk out of the woods when we were harvesting, and just stand there and stare, and then it just walked backwards back in.
Oh my lord.
I don't know if it was just a not deer, maybe, or if it was
I don't
something
know.
else.
I don't like that.
You see a lot of things in the woods when you're harvesting the field.
I'm good. I'm good, Silver. You keep the things in the woods. Keep them over. Don't bring nothing home.
Lucky thing, that was our last year of harvesting that field before we didn't
Woo!
do it anymore, so I just never went back. Yeah, but they would, going back to modern day, they would have less power, I'd think. Maybe they just find different ways. if they come up in different generations, can you imagine 20 years from now, you get children coming up in like windbreakers and stuff, parachute pants?
Parachute pants would be a sight.
You got any more chaos mayhem before we wrap things up? Chaotic.
I do not. I do not. I think we're good, even though they're yelling behind me.
I got to thank the patrons yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Thanks, nerds.
I'll keep that in this.
Thanks.
Thanks to our patrons for supporting us on the show. We got Mondi, Ruby, Super Mage. That doesn't go well with the tone, but
I was wondering why you sounded like an 80-year-old man. Monday, Ruby, Super Mage.
there we go. Thanks, nerds.
Thanks, nerds. I don't have to yell at anybody today, so thanks for that.
Yes, I got them all written down. I just gotta wait till my next paycheck and get a hold of our low-key comfy witch. Local comfy witch.
Our low-key local comfy witch.
Yes.
Named Loki.
Yes. Still editing the other podcast. Hopefully soon.
Oh my
you guys
god!
will hear it.
You guys will never get to hear it.
It should hopefully be out by the beginning of next month. So, and this episode comes out on the. I don't have a calendar.
This episode comes out on the 25th.
Yes, 25th. So yeah, this will be the last episode before you guys hear it.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Am I doing the thing?
Yes. If you have no other news, then yes.
I have no. I guess anybody who listens to the podcast generally knows. But if you do not know and you listen to the podcast, I am not going to be streaming on Twitch anymore. I am moving to strictly YouTube, and TikTok. And I'm getting ready to graduate in March to pursue my game writing and creative writing career. So I'll be doing a lot of that. You guys will see a lot of that content. And I'll still be on podcasts and stuff. So you can find me here. You can find me on our new one, The Mythic Gates. And you can, find me pretty much anywhere but Twitch. So I won't be on Twitch. I will be doing stuff with friends still on Twitch. I still have weekly games I'll play with like Plum and Memphis, and I'll be playing with Rhett still, and I'm sure I'll be playing with Anna and Bats and stuff like that. So you guys will still find me around. I just won't be on my channel. I'm taking a break, getting away, doing my thing. That's about it.
And I'll post more of Chaotic's links in the description down below.
Woohoo!
TikToks and YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's going to be fun. I'm going to make lots of weird YouTube content. So, find that. It'll be great.
Chaotic reacts to horror movies.
Yeah, anything from games to weird-ass, random-ass videos. So, just join. Enjoy yourself. I think that's it. Are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for listening to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. Silver and Chaotic take you into the depth of the lore and discuss how these legends could affect modern-day society. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or almost any podcast service easiest to you. Dive into the depths of chaos with us every Wednesday, bar Silver and Chaotic not missing their scheduling, and consider joining the podcast Discord or Twitter, following for more insider looks and even some D&D sessions. If you'd like some extra special inside looks or even want to be a guest on the show, consider helping us via Patreon. Your help makes such a big difference to us both. Until next time, Mythics, you never know what kind of mayhem we might get into.